Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Well, today I'm getting back to the MODA modern building blocks that I've been promising to get back to. I did start this last year. Seems weird to say last year still. 2023, a couple months ago, but I had to put it on hold because I had a bunch of things that I had to get done, some business things. But I'm excited now that all those are out of the way. I can get back to this sew along. So this is the MODA modern building blocks. And it comes in this sort of like card file thing. And I've worked on block 1, 2, and 3. So 2 and 3 are on the wall behind me. 1 is over there because it's a giant, huge block. And I will show you all the blocks here at the end. I'll have to hold that one up because it doesn't fit on my design wall. That's how big it is. So this week is block 4. And hopefully I'll get back on a regular schedule and get these done on a Thursday. So it is Thursday when I'm filming this. I don't know if I'm going to get it up though. Before the end of the day. I'm going to try to, got a lot going on with kids and husband out of town and all that kind of stuff. So let's get this sewn up before they get up and start needing mommy. So here is what the final quilt is going to look like. It's not a surprise. We know ahead of time. And there's the block that we're working on today. So I'm excited to work on this. I bought this kit from So Yeah Quilting. I'm not sure if they have any left. If they do, I will link it down below. But you can search on the internet if you can't find it there. There might be other places that have it. I've heard some people went to Etsy and they found it there. So go ahead and take a peek. It's a lot of fabric. It's going to be gorgeous. I'm really excited about it. I've never done a huge, big sampler quilt. And this quilt finishes at 84 by 96. So it's going to be a good size, made out of all solids. So I'm really excited about that. This is all MODA Bella solids. And I love their solids. They're really nice, good quality. Somebody asked me one time if they fray. They do fray. All fabric frays. I think if you're a starcher or use Best Press, it helps a little bit. But all fabric frays. So yes, there's going to be some fraying. But other than that, if you can see the blocks behind me, they're turning out really, really well so far. All right, I'm going to stop gabbing now and get to sewing. So let's get this block made. They give you the cutting instructions and everything, but they don't really tell you how to construct this block. So we're going to put this together. I'm just going to go in order that makes sense to my brain because there's really no right or wrong. There's these 4 corners, there's these center middle sections, and then those 2 middle sections connect to the center block there. So I'm going to do the middle section, so this piece here first. So I'm going to attach these 2 together, and then I'm going to make this little flying geese here with the blue and the 2 background pieces. So I'm going to do that first. So all of these pieces right here are all one of the corner sections. So I'm going to set that aside for now and go ahead and do one of these middle pieces. Okay. So this part is really easy. All you're doing is sewing this background rectangle to this purple rectangle, just like this. It does help if you turn your sewing machine on. Now again, there are no written instructions for this quilt along. So if you're somebody who needs written instructions, this might not be the project for you. At first that kind of threw me a little bit having no written instructions, but I'm able to follow the pictures pretty well. So what I'm doing here is I'm just folding the sides to find the center, and then I'm going to fold the triangles that go on the side and find the center of those 2, because again, there was no instructions on how to put these together. So I'm sort of guessing this is the way it goes. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. And you're going to make 4 of these, 4 of the corner blocks, and then put it all together with the center block. So there's one solid piece of fabric that goes right in the center of this block. So I'm just going to show you how to do one of each of these, and then you'll have to make all 4, and then you can put the block together. Okay. So I don't know if this is correct or not. There's extra fabric on either side. I'm thinking that maybe that should have been up a little bit more. I don't know. There's no instructions. I don't like the way that looks though. I don't think that's going to come out right. So I'm actually going to take that apart because I don't think that looks right. This is the only place for things like this that I wish it would kind of say how to line these things up and what to do. Maybe it's supposed to be more like that. I think that looks more right. Okay, so I'm just gonna line this up with the bottom down here instead of finding the centers, which is what I actually thought it should have been, is the centers, but it didn't come out right. That's okay. Stuff happens. All right, let's do that instead because I think that's gonna look more correct. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so I would line this side triangle up with the bottom down here. So like when I do this next side, I'm going to line the straight edge up with the straight edge of the bottom here. Just like that, and then sew it. Okay? So before I move on and add that last piece, I'm going to press this guy. And I'm going to press this guy too. And I think my kids were down here because my chair is too short. So I need to adjust it because I feel like I'm reaching up to sew and reaching up to iron. Yep, sure was. Okay. Let's press this guy out. Oop, did I not turn my iron on? Charge my iron up. I have a cordless iron and you have to recharge them every now and again. Come on. There we go. That's better. So there's all kinds of cordless irons out there on the market. This one, and I don't get paid anything for this, but I get asked all the time, this is the Steam Fast cordless iron. And I think they're like 40 bucks on Amazon or something. It's a really nice iron. I've had it for a while now. I really like it. It only takes seconds to get hot after when you have to recharge it. So somebody just asked me that the other day, what kind of iron I use. So I like to share those things when I find something that I really like. Okay, so that piece is done. Now I just have to attach this last triangle onto this flying geese guy. So again, I'm going to line this up at the bottom because doing it half and half, that just didn't look right. So that's where it would be nice to have a little bit of instructions. Alrighty. And eventually I'm going to have to trim these dog ears off up here. So I'll do that after I press this guy and off the sides. Okay. And let's see. This is 4.5 wide, so I'm going to make sure this little flying geese is 4.5. Which it looks like it is, so that's good. Just a smidgen extra, so I'm going to trim down around each side. So that piece is 4.5 by 2.5. It doesn't give you those sizes in the directions, but that seems to be what it came out to. 4.5 by 2.5, so there you go. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put these together. So let me look at my instructions, make sure I'm telling you the correct direction. So the flying geese, the point should be going down towards the background fabric in the purple, but attaching it to the background fabric. So right there. So I'm going to sew it with the flying geese on top so I can see right where I cross my stitches there, and so I don't lose the point. So that little flying geese should be 2.5 by 4.5. Okay, and I'm going to press away from the geese, or goose. Is it goose or geese? I don't know. Away from the flying geese towards the background fabric. And then grab my iron. All right, looks good. So you're going to make 4 of these pieces, and then once you're done with those, set those aside, and we're going to make some corner pieces. So let me get my corner pieces out here. Cap all this sharp stuff so I don't hurt myself. And here is what our corner piece is going to look like. I made one ahead just to make sure I knew what I was doing. So I'm going to lay this just on top. So that one's going to go there. And then I've got these paired up. We're going to make one pink and green. So that's those 2. And these in the instructions told you to cut these already in half. So 1 green in background and 1 pink in background. So we're making 3 half square triangles per corner piece, and you're going to make 4 of these corner pieces. So let me put this aside. Sew these all together. Now I'm assuming because they had us cut these little corner pieces to 5.5 inches square, that's what these pieces should be as well, since they're all fitting together. So if you're worried that your pieces aren't the right size, then I think you could probably trim these half square triangles down to 5.5 if they need it. They might not need it though, because they had us cut the squares in half to get like the perfect size half square triangles. So we'll check them though after I sew them together and press them. We'll see what size we're looking at. Now, if you're not somebody who starches or uses best press, you might want to be really careful with these because they're cut in half from a square. They're going to be stretchy, your pieces, and you don't want to stretch your fabric out. I did best press all of my fabric. Just gives it a little bit more stability when you're cutting things and making bias cut triangles. It's really, really easy to stretch your fabric and not even realize you're doing it. So that's why I went ahead and best pressed this. Now I'm going to press the ones that have green towards the green, and this one I'm going to press towards the pink. Just makes sense to my brain, but you do what works for you. There's no pressing instructions, just like there's no real block construction instructions. So say that 5 times fast. Block construction instructions. All right, let's give these a press, and then we'll see where we're at measurement wise, if we need to trim them down or not. They do have dog ears on them, so we'll have to cut those off, so we can just do that as we trim down. Okay, got those done. And just to confirm that this is a 5.5 inch square, yes it is. I'm gonna grab my ruler and I'm gonna see if these need to be trimmed. We'll have to cut those dog ears off anyway, so I'll do that. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, they're pretty close. And we're just going to take just a the teeniest, tiniest sliver off there. All right, that's one. Little tiny little pieces. Again, not much coming off this. If you do a scant 1/4 inch, that you might have a little bit more coming off, but I did a pretty true 1/4 inch, and I've got just the tiniest little bit here. So that's it. I don't even know if you guys can see that on camera. It's such a tiny little piece. Okay. Last one, and then we'll put this corner unit together, and then you'll make 4. So this one plus 1, 3 more. And then this is the last of our larger size blocks, I do believe. Yeah, this one is 24 inches, and then we go down to the 18-inch blocks after this one. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to lay this out. The green should touch the green, and the pink should touch the pink. And you're kind of making like a tulip block shape. And that's going to be our corner pieces. Okay. Give these a press, and then we can sew these together. And then you're making 4 of these as well. So make 3 more. And once you have these 4 done and the first piece that we worked on, the middle sections done, all you have to do then is assemble the block. So nice and easy. I think it took me longer to cut the fabric this time than it's doing to sew the block. So, all right. Put this back together the way it was. Make sure I do it the right way. Okay, sew that. hope all of you out there are staying nice and warm. I know it's really cold all across the country, and even in places that don't normally get cold, like Texas and stuff. And I know winter storms have been going across the country, so I hope you're all safe and warm. We are supposed to get some snow overnight tonight, a few inches, and then I live right off one of the Great Lakes. I live off of Lake Erie, and so we get something called lake effect snow. And when the cold air comes across the lake, picks up the moisture, and it dumps all this snow on us. And that is supposed to start tomorrow. So all in total, we're supposed to get up to a potential of 9 inches in the next 24 hours. And my husband's supposed to be flying home tomorrow from Los Angeles. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now I've got my corner pieces done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the left and right cornerstones together with one of these centerpieces that we made. And you're going to do that twice to make the top and bottom row of this block. So just like this. So I'm going to sew these together first. I'm going to press this. Actually, I think I'm going to press it out. I was going to press it in, but it's less bulky out, I think. Yeah. Didn't want to lay real nice in. If you start to press something and you realize that the fabric just doesn't want to lay that way, it might be because it really shouldn't go that way. So kind of watch your fabric too. There's no pressing instructions on this, so I'm kind of making it up as I go, but that's typically my rule if there's no pressing instructions. If the fabric just doesn't want to lay a certain way, then maybe we should try the other way. All right, I've got those two pieces together. I'm going to add this one. Okay, we're going to press this guy. We're going to press that out. All right. So there is either a top or a bottom row, so make 2 of these. So I'm going to set these aside for a second and grab the pieces to make our middle section of this block. So you're going to take the two of these that are left after you've done the top and bottom row, which are the same, and you're going to join it with the center block, the center pink square that was just a solid square. I believe it was 4.5 inches. Yeah, 4.5 inches square. And we're just going to attach these. Now, since I pressed the top and bottom row right here out, I'm going to press this one in because I believe that's where they're going to come together. Yes. I'm going to press this in so they'll nest nicely when I put this block together. All right, let's press that with the iron, and then we can put this whole block together. Alrighty. So I'm going to grab this that we made and add this to it. So pink to purple. And just put this right on top and sew it together. Oops. I lost bobbin chicken. Alright, I'm going to change my bobbin and I'll be back. Continuing on, back from bobbin chicken. I did finish that side because I wanted to make sure the machine was going well. And then I started this side and forgot to turn the camera on, so nearly there with this block. Bobbin chicken happens to all of us, right? Alrighty. I'm just going to press this, and then we will have ourselves a block. So this is block number 4. Next Thursday we will do, I'll show you guys here in a minute which block we're going to do. It's a all green and background, so whatever your background is, white, or this is a off-white. It's actually called eggshell, so not quite white. And that starts the 18-inch blocks, which there's 5 of those, and then we get down to the 12-inch blocks, and there's 9 of those. Once we get past the 18-inch blocks, depending on how complicated the 12-inch blocks are, I will probably start doing 2 blocks a week then, because I don't want this sewed along to drag on forever and ever, because I want to finish it. I want to see what this quilt looks like. So I'm getting excited to see what it's going to look like. But the 18-inch blocks, I think, are going to still take us a bit of time. So I'll take a look and see for next week. But here's the block. So let me show it to you big, and then I'll show you all the blocks that we've done so far. Well, thank you so much for sewing along with me today. So the blocks behind me, and this one, this is the big block. That was number 1, 2, and 3. And then here is today's block, all finished. It's really pretty. I really like this block. I'm kind of glad this is one of the bigger blocks because it's really gorgeous. So those are the 4 that we have so far. Next week we'll be working on this green guy right here, the green and background square. So here are the upcoming blocks. So it's going to be the green, then the yellow, then the orange, and then these 2 guys here. We might be able to do this green and yellow together next week because the yellow one looks really easy, but I'll see. I don't know how long it's going to take us to do the green. But if not, then we could probably do the yellow and the green, or the yellow and the orange one that's next to it the following week to get 2 done, because those ones both look really simple. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do those 2 the following week. So we'll do this green guy next week, and then these 2 the following week, and that'll be a week on its own because that one looks a little bit more complicated with all those flying geese. Very similar to this block that we did here, but on a smaller scale. And then we'll do that guy, and then these start the 12-inch blocks. So we'll do a couple of those a week to get this so long moving on. All right. Well, these are gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I want to see this one more time in the camera because it looks different on the camera than it does laying here on my table. Really, really pretty. Love that block. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you next Thursday for the next MODA modern building block. The green one. We'll do that next week. And then the following week, we'll do 2 blocks. So, take care. And I would love to see your blocks if you don't mind sharing. Go on over to my Facebook group, which is in the description box below this video. Sign up to be in my group. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. You just have to answer a few questions so I know that you're not a spammer. And post your pictures. I'd love to see them. I'm really glad that a lot of you have asked me to continue this. I know I had to pause for a while, so I apologize for that. But I'm back now and I'm excited to keep working on this. So post those pictures. I'd love to see what you've got going on if you've started working on this. If you haven't started working on it, post a picture of the kit. I'd love to see that you've got it and that you plan on working on it. So I'll see you then. So check out my Facebook group. And that's all. Till next week. Bye.